fans, the show is back. Hope you're all having a nice festive period. Thanks for supporting us on rugbyleague.com this year. We may, in fact, have a live game this weekend. We might be bringing you Bradford and Keighley pre-season friendly. I'll keep you updated on that. My name's Steve Mascord, and I have just come back from Huddersfield, where I attended the Huddersfield Media Day. I want to thank the club for all their help there. Got some great stuff. In the next hour, you'll be hearing from Tom Burgess, Adam Clune, Taane Milne, and Zac Woolford. Not a hell of a lot happening in the news at the moment. Congratulations to Wigan being named the BBC Team of the Year. John Bateman. John Bateman has found himself a new club. Released by West Tigers, he will join the North Queensland Cowboys. For more rugby league news, just keep your dial locked here on rugbyleague.com, because the great Costo, Jason Costigan, he brings you news on the hour, every hour. Before we have a little break and come back with the Giants boys, let's wish a happy birthday to a few people. Paul Bevan turns 60 today. The big 6-0 former Western Suburbs, Balmain and North Sydney player. And a fella I know a bit from tours. Here's a familiar face to fans on both sides of the globe, Dean Treaster. Dean Treaster is a fair bit younger than me. I'm surprised. He's 49 today, former Cronulla and Hull FC hooker. Now, let's... how about the Leeds mainstay? Also... spent some time at London. Carl Ablett, he is 39 today. Adam Milne, England, Castleford and Huddersfield, he's 33 today. And from the women's game, a very big name, Sammy Bremner, she is 33 today. There's plenty of others, but we'll acknowledge one more. We can't stay here all day wishing people happy birthday. Tom Amone, and he... the Lee forward. He's 28, born in 1996, formerly of South Sydney and West Tigers. So again, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, hope you're staying warm. This show is initially airing at 9 a.m. Sydney time on Thursday the 19th of December. So I hope everyone there is staying cool, staying out of the sun. And when we come back, we'll be hearing from the boys of the Huddersfield Giants.
As promised, we're at the Huddersfield Media Day, the first media day of the year, but I was going to say of the year, but it's not even the year yet, it's the previous year. And I've got a fella who's new to the joint, just settling in. Tom Burgess, how are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. I mean, I suppose I'm not far from this neck of the woods, like grew up around here, so pretty comfortable being back here and sort of, I'm enjoying getting into a new setup with new sort of players, new coaching staff, and sort of different for me. Obviously, being at one club for so long, I was at South for 12 years. It's sort of, a bit of adjustment, but like I'm enjoying it. It's been a breath of fresh air, and definitely some fresh air about.
The test series wasn't that long ago. You played one of the two tests. How do you look back on that?
Yeah, really, really good. Like we've got really exciting times with England at the moment. There's still a lot of young, good players coming through. I think Herbie's farm was cemented that he was up there with the best centre in the world at the moment again. And he, it's like I said, it sets it up nicely for next year against the Aussies. And I'm always really grateful to be a part of that England setup.
How have you got any preconceptions about how? Like, do you want to go to the World Cup in the England setup? You're someone who's always be available. That's your position, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I've first and foremost got to get myself in good form here with Huddersfield and making sure I'm being consistent each week and that sort of thing. And try not to give way to too many headaches in terms of picking. But like I'm not at the moment. I'm not too worried about that right now. I just want to get a really good start with Huddersfield.
people listening don't know, but we're looking down on the ground now. How, when you look down on the ground, what do you see in the year ahead? Is it a big assignment for Huddersfield this year, or is it one game at a time? How, as a new recruit, how do you sort of consume the task ahead?
Yeah, well, it's ambition. You know, we come here every year. Obviously, I'm at a new club this year, but for me, every year I've always had that ambition to do well, and you know, everyone's putting in the work at the moment. Everyone's working hard and doing the right things. So at the moment, it's a good time of year to be a coach and that sort of thing. But yeah, we're judged on our results. So I think that's what we're going to keep getting back to, and you know, be honest with ourselves. They're like, do we think that we can do something this year? And if we think that, then let's go. But we've got to really be honest, and I think we're getting that now, and we think that we can do something in this competition, or else I wouldn't have chose Huddersfield to come. And I think it's lots of potential. Like we can score some points, and you know, we've got our defensive there. We just got to keep working on them. But like, yeah, it's just that end of the day, it's a mindset as well. A lot of mental, you know, fights you go through the year to get right for the games and get up for the games, and yeah, it's a tough sport. If you're just off a little bit, you'll get found out. So we found out, you know, Sam last year can turn it around pretty quickly with Warrington, and you know, it's sort of it's not too simple. It's a pretty simple game, but it's hard, you know. So you've got to be on.
So it sounds like what your brother was able to achieve as a coach gives you confidence about what you can achieve here in a way, that he was able to make a difference.
Yeah, and that's it, you know, like it just shows he's obviously made a difference there. Not much different in terms of the playing sort of staff, but yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a coach or anything like that, but like I'm just hopefully I can make a difference on the field, and then obviously with the mindset of the players too, like helping them out, getting up for games consistently, and even just giving my experience from playing for a while in Australia and being able to manage the ups and downs of the season.
We're back at the Huddersfield Media Day on this beautiful sunny day in Huddersfield. I've got Adam Clune here. Adam, this is very early in the season to be doing the Media Day, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, it is. They come around every year, don't they? And it sort of makes you realise how close the season is. You know, we've got the Christmas break coming up, and then a couple of weeks and we're into the trials. So it comes around a lot quicker here than it does in Australia, which is really exciting. You know, playing's always funner than training. So good to be here, but yeah, really looking forward to the break and then getting into it in the new year.
So the number of games you play over here doesn't bother you? It's a long season.
It changes. If you're winning and your body feels good, I'm okay with it. But you know, you're losing and you're struggling a little bit. It can be a bit more difficult. But no, I play footy because one of the reasons I play footy is because I love it. So if I can get out there as many times as I can, and that's always exciting.
How do you look back on last season, mate? What went wrong in your mind?
I wouldn't say there's one thing that I could narrow it down to, but you know, personally, it was a really disappointing year. Wasn't able to get the best out of myself, which is really disappointing. And you know, I didn't really enjoy my footy, which is you know, something that I never want. You know, you always play your best when you're enjoying it. And then, obviously, from a team point of view, I just think, you know, we probably showed glimpses of what we were capable of, but just weren't able to be consistent enough. You know, throughout the season and throughout games, I think. That's definitely the challenge this year is, you know, bottling up that good stuff and, you know, being able to do it for 80 minutes week in, week out. And, you know, that's the difference between, you know, the top teams. You know, obviously, they're at the top of the table because they do it week in, week out. So, for me, that's probably the biggest thing that we need to improve is just being consistent.
If you look at how all the other clubs are recruited for this year, what are your impressions? I mean, there's some good players joining the comp, isn't there?
Yeah, I think across the board. I think a lot more players are excited to come over here. It's a really good brand of footy over here, and I think more people are starting to realise that. You know, all the games are on Sky Sports, so there's a little bit more exposure, which is always really exciting. And you know, us as a team, I think we've recruited really well and got some good players who I've actually played with before. So I'm looking forward to playing with a few of those blokes. And you know, across the board, there's been lots of players come over, so that'll only be a good thing for the comp and strengthen the comp. And like I said before, make it even more challenging to be consistent, but an even better comp week in, week out.
So we're back. We're here at beautiful, sunny John Smith Stadium, and I've got Zac Woolford here, whose dad knows a fair bit about this joint. What did he tell you about it?
Yeah, he told me a lot of things. Lots of good, some bad. No, but it was obviously very handy having him being over here before. I actually came over for a few weeks to visit him when he was here, so it wasn't all completely new to me, and I kind of knew my way around and knew about the club and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely helped a lot.
What's the story about you joining the club here? Was your dad involved in it, in the negotiations and stuff? Was he, is he the reason you're here?
Yeah, look, he's always heavily involved in whatever I do. We've got a very close relationship, me and Dad, and we're both happy to tell each other exactly what we think and how it is. And just through the relationship he has with Robbo, they've always kept in close contact. And when the idea came up that maybe the Super League was the right move for me, just through that relationship, things moved very quickly. And a couple of chats with Robbo, and I was pretty keen to come.
So did you watch? Every game was on last year, so in Oz. So did you watch every Huddersfield game?
Definitely. Once I realised I was going to come here, I was getting up for them, or I was going watching replays on KO. So I was keeping paying very close attention to their games, and obviously it wasn't the greatest year for them, but in saying that, they were so unlucky with injuries, and they were pulling players from everywhere to get on the park. So hopefully we can turn things around this year and get some better results.
How is the footy different over here, do you think, from watching it on TV last year?
Obviously, and I'm very lucky, I had Morgan Smithers and Elliot and stuff. They were in camera with me, so they could answer any questions that I had. But looking at it, it's obviously a little bit slower, but probably the physicality is a little bit different back home. It's just gotten so fast. The collisions that aren't as big just because they just keep speeding the game up. But I like to think that's going to suit me a little bit. I'm obviously a bigger hooker, so the physicality will be fine. And obviously, I'll wait and see how I play it. But hopefully, I take to it well.
I'm sure everyone asks you about the added pressure of your dad being well known and particularly playing the same position. How is it? Do you feel more pressure, more eyes on you?
Nah, not at all. I probably felt it more when I was a younger fella, like a kid. Kids are like they're pretty vicious and they'll pick on anything. But once I got out of that sort of age and started to do my own thing, it doesn't really come into it at all. I'm so lucky to have him and have his knowledge. I'm grateful that he's dad.
Is it your aim to go back to the NRL, or is it just suck it and see over here?
Obviously, we'll wait and see. A lot of people think that the idea of me coming here was to get back home as quickly as I can, but that's definitely not the case. Obviously, there's a lot of things that have to happen. I've got a partner and stuff, and so far she's settled in fine. But if this year goes well and she's enjoying her time, I'd be happy to spend the rest of my career here. That's just where I'm at with my headspace, and I feel like I was maybe in a little box back in Australia that I couldn't kind of get out of and break the mold, whereas I feel like this is a really good opportunity for me to grow as a person and as a player, and if that happens, I'll be more than happy to stay till Father Time comes to happen.
And we're still here at the Huddersfield Media Day. Beautiful sunny weather. Taane Milne, straight from the airport. How are you feeling? How's the jet lag?
No, I feel actually pretty good. That first flight got a few hours in, so I'm feeling good at the moment, but don't be surprised if I collapse soon. Go to sleep.
Halfway through a sentence. Mate, what's the story about you joining the club here? What does it go back to? What was the origins of it?
Oh, I just obviously I got my manager Tyron Smith. He's he was doing talking around, and Huddersfield came up. Obviously Tom here as well. I was speaking to Tom. Asked him his opinion. Would it be good for me? And he sort of said that I can add something to this team, and I also spoke to the coach as well, and what he said to me sort of gave me confidence as well to make the move as well. So there's a lot of people, but at the end of the day, I made the decision, and I'm really excited to get out the paddock to train with the boys. And
well, did the coach give you any indication of what he was expecting from you and what he thought you could add, and what did Tom say as well?
No. It was just a normal chat. Robbie gave me a call and just reassured me that family comes first. Obviously, I got a pregnant fiance back home in Sydney, and he just said, do what you got to do, before you get over here, and we'll sort you out, help you out, and with the birth of my first child. And I really respected that. And he also said that watched my Pacific Championship, and he liked what he saw, and I can add something to the team. So I really respected that call, and so that was the conversation there. So
how's that going to work with your partner? Is she going to join you over here soon?
Yeah, of course. Obviously have the baby back there. And then once it's safe enough, a few months I think, and then get her over here and get it all settled in. So really excited for that.
Just so we get it right, can you just tell us her name?
Oh, it's Casey. Yeah, her name's Casey. Yeah.
And she's due in a month or so?
Yeah, she's due in January, late January. So really keen.
And mate, have you had much to do with the UK over the years and footy? Like, how much time have you spent over here?
No, I've only actually been here one time. I was playing union ballet at the time for school, so I was. We've done a tour around England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland. So that was unreal. That was 2013, so pretty old now. But I remember it was around November. It was freezing. So, but I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to this year, next year's season, and getting to meet the boys and jumping out of the paddock, training with them, and getting in the trenches, working hard. So I'm really keen for it.
Are you? Have you got a lot of mates at other clubs over here too from footy?
Yeah, I've got a lot. I've got a lot of mates. I've got a cousin, James Bell.
All right,
he's at St Helens, is it?
Yeah.
St Helens. So
played for Scotland for a lot of time.
Yeah, Scotland. Yeah. He's from where I'm from, New Zealand, obviously. Pretty close with him. I'm close with Nene McDonald. He's lived with me in Sydney. We played through the ranks, Roosters and Dragons together. Sam Lasoni, just up the road at Leeds. So I've got a lot of mates here, and
he's been bagging you.
I'm really excited. To when it comes to face him on the field. So.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tony the Mole Adams YouTube channel. Okay, let's get on with the column, and don't forget you can read Tony's column at 9.com.au, and there's a link in the show descriptions. And a fellow, we've been following this story right from the beginning, as we have a number of things that have, like Reece Robson, a few other stories that have really, John Bateman, a few things that have really come home to roost, no pun intended, in recent days and weeks. And here's a fellow we've been following right from the start. This gun from Newcastle, Leo Thompson, and he's your lead this week. What's the latest with him?
Yeah, well, he's probably the most sought-after player left on the market for 2026, Leo Thompson. And, of course, he told the Knights only in the last few days that he's not going to be staying at the club. So one would think he's got a club in mind, and there were a few clubs in there. The Raiders were mentioned very strongly, particularly it's come out the last few days that his partner comes from Canberra. So that gives the Raiders an ace up their sleeve. My story was basically along the lines of he met with the Bulldogs, but it sort of talks never progressed to the point where money was discussed, where contracts were discussed. So everyone thought the Bulldogs were the real fit for him. But it looks like that's not going to be. But there are other clubs still involved. The Eels have been mentioned, the Dolphins, and wouldn't surprise me if the Roosters made a sneaky little bit. Let's not forget they've lost big Jared Warrior-Hargraves to your part of the world, and they've also lost Terrell May. That's a lot of firepower gone, and when you've got a guy like Leo Thompson on the market and the money that the Roosters have, you'd be silly not to go for him.
Talking about this part of the world, that part of the world being Hull and Yorkshire, Tom Opacek has a new home, Tony. That's the next item in your wonderful column, which once more I encourage everyone to read.
Yeah, that's right. And it's ironic because Tom was born and raised in Redcliffe and he signed with the Dolphins. Now, of course, when he grew up, there was no Dolphins as in the NRL franchise. So he moved to the Broncos. Since then, he's been to the Cowboys, Eels, and, of course, Hull KR. But now he's back to where it all began at the age of 30. A good signing for the Dolphins. And probably won't start the year in first grade, but I reckon he'll rack up a few games before the season's over.
Clint Gutherson, is he moving into the forwards with his move to the Dragons, Tony?
Well, we keep hearing rumours along those lines, but I've got a spy in the Dragons camp, and he says he's been training exclusively at fullback And that, of course, leaves the question of Tyrell Sloan. Will he be the fullback in New South Wales Cup? No, he won't be. He's been training on the wing, and with his speed and evasive skills, and if he can get someone to come up with Ben Hunt's 32 try assists, he'll be scoring a few tries. But the big question in Dragons Town is who's going to fill that void. So I'm not sure he's going to score that many tries, Tyrell Sloan, but he's certainly got the makings of a good finisher.
Now, if you've never watched this channel before, you wouldn't be aware that we pride ourselves on being the first place you hear about young rugby league players. And your final item in your column, Tony, is about a fella called Eli Clark. Tell us all about Eli Clark.
Yeah, well, Eli played one game for the Bulldogs this year, and he looked all right. But the Bulldogs have got a lot of outside backs, and they've let Eli look around, and a few clubs are talking to him. I'm hearing he's going to stay in Sydney probably. He's a 22-year-old centre, plenty of pace. Don't be surprised if he's down St George or Cronulla way, without naming names, of course.
So we'll talk to you next week, Tony. Merry Christmas to everyone, all the viewers.
Yeah, have a great Christmas, New Year, guys, and we'll keep going right the way through, won't we, Steve?